Hello, everybody. It's me, Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you see, I'm not in AEW anymore. I'm not in WWE just yet. Maybe. Depends on who offers me the most money. Who knows? I may even just go home and raise my kid with my wife. But who knows? But anyway. There you go. Yes, I thought I'd start off the week with the most obvious thing that has been talked about this week in the wrestling world, the fact that Cody Rhodes can go where the hell he wants. And WWE seem to be everyone's guess for this. I am not convinced. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But until he signs anywhere, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. It is what it is, really.
Yeah, he comes from an old school wrestling family where, not being funny, don't believe it until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about a guy that's the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, you know? So that's all I'm saying. There you go. But anyway, probably should actually introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Peter. I have a voice again. Hey, it's amazing. I'm so happy to have it. And over this way. Yeah, he's got the lurgy now. It's Aaron, who's been caring with colours, but not caring with his voice because he's caught what I had from the sounds of it. We're parties, we've been nowhere near each other. Or is that what happens when you go to an escape room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. That's what Aaron was doing today. He was in an escape room.
And I was really tired by the end of it.
As you can tell, we didn't get out of it because that's why he's on the show.
I think I said to my best man that if you want to come to the wedding, you're gonna have to go through one of them escape rooms and make it out.
Make sure it's the one.
A stipulation.
Yeah, make sure it's the one you just told me about with the cards.
Yeah.
But you might want to make it the rings.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah. That could be fun. So, yeah. Aaron, of course, has been busy with all these bits and pieces. Next month, of course, in a few days' time, Aaron changes charities again. And according to his social media, because I social peek on him, it's a thing. He's going to be doing a birthday sub-off-on, I think it is. Yes?
Yeah.
Which apparently is having to explain to a lot of people online. And that's weird to me, because do you know why? I knew what it was!
I think I told you about them before, because my friend did that one where he ended up being on it for 6 days.
Right, but the point is, I remembered that. That's not something I'd normally remember. And apparently, you had to explain to a few people, because I saw you post about it online. Although you probably should explain for the benefit of anyone who's watching this show who doesn't know what it actually is.
Basically, I'll be streaming live for 2 hours, and if anybody gifts a sub within those 2 hours, it adds another 15 minutes onto the length of the stream. And then there's going to be different things going on. Like once I hit 50 subscribers, well, if I hit 50 subscribers, I've got a load of horrible
that
sour sweets.
That we did talk about.
These are Black Death sour sweets, not the toxic waste.
Yes, but we did talk about the sweet thing.
Yeah. So if I hit 50 subscribers, I'll eat one of these live on stream. Also, if somebody does a subscribe gifts like multiple subscribers, I have to Bean Boozle. And they're the spicy ones. So you got sriracha, jalapeno, cayenne, habanero, and Carolina Reaper jelly beans.
And with the price on too.
Huh?
With the price tag on too.
Yeah. Benefit of Hardee's.
There you go. Not sponsoring this show, so don't give a shit. So the only people I have no issue with you plugging are the charities, and obviously the one you're doing this month is currently on your chest there, which of course is Save the Children. So Save the Children, which is pretty much what you think it is. And of course, you can help Aaron Save the Children by following Aaron's Twitch.
Yep.
So, let's see, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays generally for streams. So, and the subathon thing is Aaron's birthday stream. So it's on your birthday, if I remember correctly.
It's on a Thursday.
So it breaks the pattern, which is important to mention. So.
It breaks the pattern because I'll probably be going out on the Saturday, I imagine, for my birthday. I don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough. I love it all that.
Well, both my brothers work weekdays, so
you say work.
Want to go out with me like on my birthday?
I was going to say you say work. Do they really?
Connor's got a new job. And Kieran's got a new job as well.
So they have to work. Gotcha. Right.
Kieran's working in a warehouse as of Monday. As of tomorrow. And Connor's valeting cars. And it's not the glamorous kind either. It's the cleaning the inside of cars.
Yeah, it's not the pickup and it's not the collect and drive ones. It's the all over body wash and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a full valet as opposed to just a parking valet. A warehouse job is not easy, full stop, because warehouse work is hard and the full valet job is hard as well. So yeah, you can't really not work hard doing those jobs. You kind of have to, or you're going to lose the job very quickly. Right. But I know you actually work hard. That's my difference.
Yeah.
So, but there you go. That's what's been going on with obviously all the stuff, and of course Aaron, and we just touched on Cody Rhodes, of course. So, yeah. See, how much longer can I delay before we have to talk about WWE?
Well, it depends whether or not you want to talk about WWE or the new WWE brand that's on as well.
The thing is, we do actually have to talk about WWE, though. That's the thing. So,
yeah,
kind of why we do the show. So.
Yeah, I remember.
I do sometimes think to myself, maybe we should just make it an AEW show instead, because then we'd both be happy.
Yeah, but then I think about it, and I just think if I was to criticize everything that AEW did to the degree that I criticized WWE, would I really enjoy wrestling anymore?
Yeah, the problem though is whether they do the same amount of things to be criticized for. Like, that's the thing, of course. And for me, no.
No.
However, I'm not you. and what you may like may be slightly different to what I like. So you might find things that don't appeal to you.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we all have a different taste of the pills. So we will have to see. But for now, of course, we are talking WWE, which does mean we have to start with Raw.
The show kicked off with Lashley and MVP, and with Elimination Chamber looming, Lashley actually looked confident. And the promo started with Lashley comparing himself to the Chamber, and then MVP had his promo with it being about Lashley's mathematical odds. Then Rollins came out and had a lot of good and bad news for Lashley. Then MVP said if Rollins keeps talking, he won't make it to Sunday. Even though the Chamber was on Saturday. So MVP bollocks up there.
Well, he's probably too busy coming.
Then Riddle came out and made no sense except for the double champ part and the WWE champion. But anyway, shortly afterwards, Theory came out and said his bit in referencing to his lessons and time with Vinnie Mac. Then AJ Styles came out and said Austin Theory's lips had been on McMahon's ass for too long. He wasn't making any sense. And they all had to worry about him in the Chamber. And then he got an invite to the RK Broger party, and AJ said, okay, what time? And Lashley said, what the hell is going on? He then ran down everybody, including Brock Lesnar, that was going to be participating in the Chamber match. And then, straight on cue, Lesnar came out in full cowboy attire and even tipped his cap to everyone in the arena. Then went into the ring, eyed up the competition, put his stuff literally on Theory like a clothing rack, and just stared down Lashley. And obviously, Theory didn't take too kindly to being used as a clothes rack, so he tried to jump Brock Lesnar.
I wonder how that went.
He gained an F5 for his troubles and a suplex or two. Then proceeded to take a selfie with Austin Theory using his own phone.
Yeah, anyone could have predicted that. That was not hard. Do you know?
So basically, the show started off with an Elimination Chamber free-for-all segment.
I understand them all coming out because they obviously got to hype it up. I get that. But I'm with Lashley. What the hell is going on? This segment was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of Fury getting beaten up by Lesnar because I think it's funny. But this didn't build up the match. It made them all look kind of stupid. And it didn't achieve anything. It was like, fine. I mean, here's the thing, right? This is it relates to something that happened later in the show. You could have done something similar to what they did for the women's chamber match on this show, and I think it would have been a better use of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's slightly different because obviously you have the champion in this chamber match. So what you could have done is had the other participants do that same thing that the women do in this on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly do that. I mean, there's and have that for something to do with the match. I don't know, but there are things you could have done much better things than what they did. Simple as that, really.
Then we had a Street Profits segment and a breakdown of what was happening on Raw that night. Which is good, but why are Street Profits talking about Raw as a program when they're on the program? This is a commentator job.
It is, but I think they're also trying to be meta. Oh, don't worry. I think it's fucking stupid too. But you're right. When the program's ongoing, the people to talk about the program are the commentators, or if you have them, possibly authority figures. And I don't mean Pearson DeVille.
So next we had Street Profits versus the Dirty Dogs. Michael Cole introduced this by saying that there was apparently unfinished business, and these guys haven't faced off in at least 2 weeks. So whatever the unfinished business was news to us.
There is no unfinished business. This was complete bullshit.
No. But we also got to see a recap of NXT, and we was then treated to Tommaso Ciampa on commentary.
Yeah, no, got a problem with that.
Ciampa got a distraction on Ziggler and cost the Dirty Dogs the match. Yeah.
At least it makes sense with him and the Ziggler thing going on at the moment. That's pretty much any good thing you can say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Still weren't good though. Made sense at least, but wasn't good. It's probably the best thing I can say about it.
And Riddle was in a Broga, RK Broga party segment, and asked where Randy was, and the camera zoomed out and zoomed back in. Zoomed out and into Randy's face, if that was.
Yeah.
And Randy was standing in the locker room, not apparently a Broga party guy, and he was planning ahead to his match with Rollins later on in the night, which makes sense. But at the same time, it kind of looked like Randy wanted to be at the Broga party. He looked disappointed.
He probably did.
I think this was another Camel situation where Vince said, "You're not a Broga party guy."
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what that was. Because I think Orton himself would have done it, but I think this is very much a no, Randy.
Following this, we had another Rocky Johnson moment again, which was nice. I'm really sorry, my throat's really, really fucking bad.
Yeah, no worries.
Then we had AJ Styles versus Damian Priest for the US title. Before we had that match, however, we had a recap of the KO Loves Texas moment last week, and a poll had been made by WWE, and the poll said that KO was lying, and then KO said he's a realist and he knows he won't be at Mania, and KO admitted to lying and that he hated Texas.
Fair enough.
So AJ had been in the ring for about 5 to 10 minutes after this point already, and Priest made his way out. So then we had Damian Priest versus AJ Styles. I was interested in this, but having this match could do one of two things: damage AJ Styles' momentum leading to the Elimination Chamber, or give AJ the title he wanted before the Chamber and Priest's reign ends, and WWE in their infinite wisdom damages AJ. AJ's momentum.
The problem with booking this match, I mean, you pretty much said it right there, is this match can only do one or two things, and they both damage AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, he wins the match, wins the title. Okay, means he's not winning the chamber match, so he's got to lose in the chamber. Two, if he doesn't win, he's going to the chamber on a loss, and that damages his chances of people thinking he's going to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, great booking. Well done.
We then had an Alexa moment.
Yeah.
Lily's remains were returned to Alexa Bliss, and as a gift, might I add, by the psychologist. And he said he had an idea and produced a replica doll, and then it ended the segment.
Yeah, and they got the replica from WWEshop.com.
Yeah. So next we had Omos versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. So this was a sight. The Hurt Business getting hurt, and not gonna lie, it sucks because both deserve better than the cannon fodder treatment to firm Omos's career.
Yeah, this is bullshit. You can get any other two wrestlers to have done this. I mean, get Enhancement Talent to do this, you know.
Yeah. Then we had the 24/7 champ. First segment was okay. The love thing was boring and had a part 2 coming. Another Broga Party segment was funny with the Profits 2. Raw Women's Championship match contract signing between Lita and Becky followed. This contract signing went as expected, except Lynch was wearing a very underdressed look, and Becky said she hasn't slept all week because she was conflicted about fighting her idol and looked like crap, to be honest. Becky looked really nervous and angry and threatened Lita with her neck injury, and she didn't want to hurt Lita, apparently. This was like really weird, to be honest.
Yeah. To be honest, all Becky looked like is that she'd just been a mum. Which, of course, she is. So, this was... I get why you have this segment, but... No.
You can't really have her do a segment like this and then be completely fine by Saturday. What did she find? Sleeping pills?
She slept on the plane.
Yeah, Lag will do that too.
Also, Bubba wouldn't have gone with her, so yeah.
Yeah. Then we had a chamber match segment refreshing us on the very simple rules of the Elimination Chamber match. And unfortunately, what followed that was a completely unadvertised all-women's gauntlet match to find out who would enter the chamber last on Saturday.
I liked this match, but you just hit the problem right there. Advertise this.
It wasn't advertised at all.
That's my point. Advertise this. This is a good thing. It makes people interested and gives stakes, because the chamber match itself is for the number one contendership to the title, right? So you want to be the last person that comes out into the chamber. It's a strategic advantage, right? So if you're going to have this, announce this and have it happen. This is what they should have done with the men's segment earlier as well. I think there should have been 2 gauntlet matches for the men and the women for this to decide something to do with the chamber. And I think the women definitely, this worked out much better than the men's segment did. But yeah, fucking advertise it. Jesus Christ.
So this match was actually pretty good as well. Probably the best match in the show.
Easily, yeah.
Rhea Ripley outlasted 3 of the superstars, but unfortunately when it came to Bianca Belair, she was just 2 out of it and got pinned.
Yeah, for record, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, and Piper Niven.
Piper Niven lost, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good square up between Piper Niven and Ripley.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was no 6th competitor for the match yet. So it's between the first 5. Then we had a Toga Party segment, and Riddle was jumped by the Alpha Academy. Then we had Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Alpha Academy, which Well, that was going to happen, but then we had another 24/7 championship segment, and Reggie portrayed Dana finally on Valentine's Day too.
That I liked. I liked that.
Then we got the match that was advertised, so Alpha Academy versus Mysterios. Gable kicked out, kicked off their entrance with a really boring promo segment, and before the match about cheaters, and that of course brought out Miz, who Alpha Academy seemed to agree with. But eventually we got this match between the two teams, kicking it off with picture-in-picture to start off with, and then we had the rest of the match and had Miz and Maurice on commentary, and of course Miz cost the Mysterios the match and skull crushed Ray. We had the final Alexa Bliss segment after that, and she added herself to the chamber match.
Yeah, basically.
And main event was Rollins versus Orton.
Yeah. To be honest with this match, it didn't hurt Orton to lose this match because basically he's not in the chamber.
This match also started in picture-in-picture as well.
Yeah, obviously Aaron's favourite thing in the whole world. But the difference between this match and the match happened earlier is that Rollins winning this match did not damage Orton as opposed to the Priest and AJ thing, which I think is an important difference because Orton was not isn't in any of the matches in the chamber, so this doesn't damage Orton. Also, and Rollins gets a win leading to the chamber match, which is what you want.
Also, the Academy caused a distraction that got Orton stomped and pinned for the 1, 2, 3.
Again, it doesn't damage him. Was it necessary for them to do that? No, but it doesn't hurt either. But that, of course, was the end of Raw, which means Aaron needs to give us a rating. Four, yeah?
Yeah.
I can see that. I think that women's gauntlet match probably is most of that, let's be honest.
Yeah. And the AJ Styles versus Priest.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the result of the match isn't ideal, but the actual match itself was fine. So, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, next we have Vengeance Day, NXT. The show opened up with a three-way Toxic Attraction conversation to highlight what was going to happen in like a package segment thing, which was okay, but I guess you've got to give the people what they want, and apparently that's loads of Toxic Attraction in bikinis.
Dude, that's gimmick infringement for one thing. Also, you jumped the gun. Yeah, that's AEW. Don't use the gimmick.
What, like they did on the show?
Mm-hmm.
So, we had Tony D'Angelo versus Pete Dunne in a weaponized steel cage match.
You called this.
Yeah, the match started as it meant to go on, violently. And Tony D got Pete Dunne's hand zip-tied behind his back, but Dunne got freed because it was the only way to get out of Dunne's guillotine lock on D'Angelo. Tony got put through a table and smacked with a cricket bat and then hit with a bitter end, and Angelo actually kicked out. Then D'Angelo hit done with the forget about it, and Edge and Dunn kicked out of that, and it came down to a surprise crowbar hidden by Dunn and a smack to the face and another bitter end, and 3 seconds later we had our winner, Pete Dunne.
Yeah. For those who didn't catch last week, Aaron called this basically. So this is Ambrose Asylum or the Gargano Cole weapons cage match thing, and that's exactly what this was.
Mm-hmm.
So Pete Dunne won, as he should have done.
Then we had a Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez segment, which was good and interesting. Gonzalez training Jade builds a bond between the two, I guess, for the Dusty Cup.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's what it is, I guess. We then had a promo package about the Creeds versus MSK, and each team had their own say and were videoed with upon their arrival. Then a brief lineup of Mello versus Grimes, with both arriving at the CWC. Then we had Toxic Attraction versus Hartwell and Porotta for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Before the bell could even ring, it all broke down because Toxic Attraction attacked Porotta and Hartwell from behind, which is just in character. But they turned it around very quickly, and Mandy Rose was removed from ringside early as well. Then, of course, it went to a picture-in-picture break, and shortly after that, Toxic Attraction won.
Yeah. And Aaron, of course, still loves picture-in-picture.
As much as I like the colour-changing name in the background of the CWC.
Yeah.
Because autism
is Aaron's friend.
More like immovable tenant.
Yeah.
So, next after this, we had Wendy Chu in a segment, who turned around and asked Dakota Kai to be her partner in the Dusty Cup.
Well, I like seeing Wendy Chu do stuff in it because I just think Wendy Chu's a fun character, but not the worst person to pick either.
Not the worst person to pick, but
it's a strange one, yeah.
Yeah. Be interested to see how it works.
Yeah.
Then
you might be sorry, I was going to say you could be looking at something similar to Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. One straight and one is the goof.
Probably.
So yeah.
Except one's insane and one's a sleepyhead.
Exactly.
So next we had a Briggs and Jensen segment, which was Jensen realizing he was friend zoned, which was I don't care.
Yeah.
Then we had an LA Knight segment.
Yeah.
LA didn't even get to talk before Walker came out with police, and then Knight showed a clip from 2 weeks ago that showed Waller attacked him first, so the restraining order was null and void. Apparently, Waller thought that it was an Australian restraining order, even though they were in the American. Well, even though they was in America.
FYI, Australian ones don't work that way either.
No. We then had, well, being as the contract was null and void, of course, that let Knight have at Waller, and then there were, well, yeah, he had at Waller.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a match next week. Well,
we all kind of knew that because the minute that restraining order got We knew something was going to happen.
Yeah. We then had a Peralta and Indy segment where Indy left with Dexter, of course, and Peralta left with Duke Hudson, who Indy's been telling Peralta to stay away from him for weeks. Then we had a Black History Month moment telling us about some of WWE's stars being highlighted, which was nice. NXT with we then had a Ciampa moment where he talked about building NXT with lots of moments, and he went off on one saying Ziggler mistakes his loyalty for fear. It was good, but it was it's Ciampa. We don't mind.
Well, there's only so much you can do with something like this, and he did as well as you could do.
Yeah. Then we had Carmelo versus Cameron Grimes for the North American Championship. This match started with trash talk, but this also had the potential to actually steal the show, in my opinion.
It was decent, but I don't think it was a show stealer.
No, it could have been, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
A non-surprise was that Trick interfered as much as possible.
Well, we're all shocked by that, aren't we?
So this all seemed like really good until Trick interfered. But yeah, as we said, doesn't surprise. Another non-surprise was the pick and pick break halfway through. This match wasn't as great as I thought it would be. Both men hit their shots, but Trick Williams was the X factor. Williams should have been ejected 3 times, and then Cameron Grimes lost. In my opinion, Grimes was robbed and will probably get a rematch later on down the line.
Yeah, and to be fair, at least in this instance, it makes sense. But you probably have to make something out of the fact that Trick kept interfering.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing I have is the Dusty Classic.
We then had a Dusty Cup pre-match promo package that was good. Then we had EO and Kaylee Ray in a segment, and Io Shirai said she actually liked Kaylee Ray. And this is the first person Io Shirai has ever said about liking.
I understand that, though. Because I think similar mindsets.
I think that this is going to lead to Zoe Stark becoming jealous, coming back from injury and beating the crap out of Kaylee Ray and breaking up the tag team. It's just needlessly predictable, in my opinion.
Yeah. You said
and
it.
If they don't do that, I'll be surprised.
Well, it would show remarkable restraint.
So next we had the Creed Brothers versus MSK. This was going to be interesting, to be honest. I called the Creed Brothers coming out on top, and well, even though it was a close one, the Creeds came out on top with the win. Next week we have the arrival of Nikita Lyons. We then had Imperium in the ring for some reason, congratulating the Creed Brothers, and Gunther, aka Walter, said he's got eyes on the championship. But then Solo Sikoa came out and said he wanted the ring general, basically. And to be honest, for one of the shortest segments of the week, it may have been the best.
Well, anything that involves Walter generally is. I don't know who this other person is referring to, but Walter was good here, and so was Solo Sikoa.
Then we had a Ziggler segment where we found out Ziggler versus Ciampa will be happening next week as well.
Oh, joy to the world.
Yeah. And then the main event was Santos Escobar versus Braun Breaker. We also had, before this actually kicked off, we had a Mello and Pete Dunne segment, which was good. basically done eyeing up the North American Championship. Like this, do it.
This made sense. He's won a high-profile match at the beginning of the show, and he's retained, and Dunn's looking to his next step. It makes sense, yeah.
Dunn's been without a title for too long, in my opinion.
To be fair, he did hold a title for quite a while.
Yeah, but that was on the other side of the pond.
Yeah, and you'd like to remind the people how long he held that belt for?
609 days.
Yeah.
I believe.
Give or take, yeah. So, just to give you an idea. And the person who beat him for that belt was also on this show.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I don't like the fact that it's taken him this long to get into a title picture, knowing full well that Walter's there now as well, so he won't go for the main title because we were not overly anxious to see Pete Dunne versus Walter 3.
Well, Dunn's been waylaid for a whole bunch of reasons. A lot of it being to the former Undisputed Era when they were there. It's a lot of time that he took up most of that stuff, and recently, of course, it's been Tony D'Angelo, and yeah.
So, yeah. Give Dunne a title. Santos Escobar versus Braun Breaker was next. With Legado ringside, Breaker would have his work cut out for him. But yeah. Breaker won even with Ziggler's interference, and it all worked out well for him in the end.
Yeah. I do think people need to be careful trying to keep threatening Braun Breaker, because eventually Daddy and Uncle might turn up, and, one of them's got a control problem.
Yeah.
I give you a hint, it ain't Daddy.
No.
But yeah, it was a nice outing for Breaker as well. Again, nice good defense for him as well. So it's building it up, which is good. But you want that from a champion.
I said that this one was about a 5.
I think that's fair. There were some nice things, but nothing was particularly great or I'd say even good, really. I mean, the argument you would have would possibly be the cage match for being good, because I think that did what it was meant to do and did it well.
I did like the Solo Sikoa and Walter part as well.
I think that's fair.
Also, the Creed Brothers versus MSK, even though it's predictable, it was a good match.
Predictable isn't always bad. As long as you do it well, predictable's fine.
Yeah, so I say a 6.
Yeah, but I don't have an argument on that. I think that's fine. Not a problem.
And then we have NXT UK.
Or as you generally normally call this, Aaron Sanctuary.
I wouldn't call it my sanctuary this week.
No, I didn't think so. That's why I said normally call it.
Yeah, so first up we had Sammy Grabwell versus Kenny Williams.
Yeah.
Williams said he was injured and came out with a pair of crutches. However, the assistant to the general manager, Sid Segala, came up on screen and said he spoke to medical staff and there was no such doctor's note, but the only thing that they was concerned about was that there was a pair of crutches missing. He then turned around and said, "Start the match." And of course, Grabwell wasted no time getting his hands on Williams and chucking him in the ring.
As he should have done.
Grabwell won with a roll-up, but afterwards, Williams attacked him from behind with the crutch that he'd brought out with him.
Foreshadowed.
And cut off his Mohican. Yeah. And this really pissed Gradwell off, of course.
I also think it's dumb.
The
thing with haircutting segments, unless there's a specific thing that relates to the wrestler for hair, then don't do them because it's dumb.
Well, Gradwell's always had that, and he says it's a sign of his strength.
Yeah, but not being funny. It's not like a major thing.
Oh, it must be for him.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's not like, for an example,
You didn't spit in their grandpa's ashes.
I'm trying to think of hair gimmick. Tatanka, right? And Tatanka was around, right? He had the red streak in his hair from the Native American thing. It's a big deal. And Bam Bam cut his hair. That's a big issue because that's a cultural thing.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I mean by if you're going to do a hair thing, it has to be relevant, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It has to matter. Cutting somebody's mohawk, sure, it's annoying, but at the same time, unless it's like something that's like a belief.
Well, Gradwell hasn't been bald since the original United Kingdom Championship tournament. And I'm talking about the inaugural one, not the second one.
Okay.
When he faced Pete Dunne in the first round. And lost, obviously.
Was this the Tyler Bate winning one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not the worst, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan of it either.
Mm.
But to be fair, there are worse things to have a feud over.
Then we have Wolfgang and Gallus in a segment which was good, and Wolfgang seemed pissed after what Jordan Devlin did to him last week. No surprise. Then we had a Xia Brookside segment, which was absolute shit. I don't like the new Daddy's Girl thing. It sucks and it's beneath her. It's like having an even whingier Charlotte Flair on a Thursday night.
Oh, come on, you're pushing it right there. There's no such thing as an even whingier Charlotte Flair.
If she carries on going up like the dial, she'll get there.
Oh, I don't doubt she could get there, but even whingier, really?
I don't even think whingier is a word, but...
No, it is. It is a word.
Is there a picture of Charlotte Flair standing next to it?
Maybe.
There should be. Anyway, yeah, I don't care for this segment at all.
Actually, I think I found the picture that's next to it.
Oh.
The Miz.
So next we had Mastiff and Stars in a segment for the Bomber Cut that Stars really wanted. And it was actually quite funny. Challenge 1 was free squat for an hour. And Dave Mastiff completely forgot about Stars, so he was there for 3 hours free squatting.
Okay.
Challenge 2 was eat a whole sleeve of dry Weetabix. And he actually managed to do it. And, well, have dinner afterwards as well. That was...
You may want to explain what sleeve of Weetabix is for people who don't know what Weetabix is, for starters.
A sleeve of Weetabix is half of a whole box of Weetabix, and a Weetabix is a dried wheat biscuit that's normally served with warm or cold milk and fruit of your choice or whatever you want to top it with, really.
Yeah, because the people who don't get it, because not everywhere does, it gives them an idea of why that might be a challenge.
Yeah, it's literally a dry wheat biscuit, and it would be like eating Rivita completely on its own.
Or crackers.
Yeah, crackers. Really, really dry crackers, though. Because it like soaks up all the moisture when you put milk in it. So imagine putting something like that in your mouth and it just...
Jacob's crackers, to give people reference.
Yeah.
Or prawn crackers.
After the second challenge, which Stars did, challenge 3 was to show bravery. And Mastiff tried to get Stars to run through the performance center, but naked.
Of course he did.
Star said no and ran away, and luckily enough that the cameraman managed to fog over the lens because he was generally starkers in the video.
Not being fun. If you're going to have something that's supposed to be an act of bravery, right? We've had this happen before. Get one of them to run up to Dragunov and smack him.
I'm sorry, but Stars has already proved how brave he is. He was Walter's first match. Like,
yeah, but this is my point. It's a bravery thing. Get him to do something like that. You don't have to have him be naked, for fuck's sake.
You never know. It might happen next week. He might just foreshadow doing something brave or crazy.
Because the thing with this, though, right, and this is why I don't think they should do this. If you want equality, right, in wrestling, because a lot of people want the women, but the men are, right. You can't ask a woman talent to do that. No. So why are you getting a male talent to do it? Just something.
The funniest part about this, Jack running naked through the PC. When he ran away, he was still wearing his socks.
Floor's cold.
Yeah, I just found it amusing that he was still wearing his socks.
Yeah,
but not his shoes.
For those of you unaware, England is cold, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And in case any of you can hear it, it's also quite windy. We recently had a storm over here, which won't be a lot for a lot of you guys because you guys get like hurricanes and stuff. But for us, storms are a big deal because we don't get them that often. But we're talking at the most like 50-mile-an-hour winds, which for here is a fair amount, but for a lot of you guys who get hurricanes and stuff, not so much for you.
I just remembered I need to do something because of something that's coming up. Or actually, it's not. I'm going to put it in the thing just in case.
Oh. Okay.
So after this, Sam Gradwell was on the warpath after having his Mohican cut off, which was to be expected, but yeah, it wasn't really necessary. It was just showing him how angry he was.
I mean, to be fair, if you're gonna do that and you want to make something of it, you need to show his reaction. So I at least get that.
Yeah. Then we had Angel Hayes versus Amelia McKenzie. Really not sure on the name Angel Hayes. That sounds like something you'd smoke, not something you'd wrestle.
I was gonna say it sounds like a drug.
It does.
Or a strip club.
So Isla Dawn was mentioned talking about Mackenzie's previous loss to the White Witch, but Angel Hayes really gave Amelia a run for her money. But a win for Amelia nonetheless.
So, Aaron, would you like to go to Angel Hayes for your bachelor party?
No. Nathan Fraser was then interviewed, which was good. And Fraser turned around and said straight that he wants Dragunov for the NXT UK title.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Well, Fraser had Walter's last NXT match, so it kind of makes sense. If you're not trying to really hurt yourself.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he got a win over Tio Man last week, so he might have just been feeling confident. Yeah,
because he'd forgotten what it was like after he fought Walter, and beat Tio Man. Thought, hey, I feel good. Let's fight. Let's challenge the champion. He probably fought to challenge the champion, and then remembered who it was and thought, oh, fuck.
Can I get some ice for my chest, please? You don't have a mark on your chest. No, I'm just prepping.
Hang on, what's that? What are you wearing shoulder pads for? Are you playing American football? No, I'm going to have a match with Ilya Dragunov. Oh, okay. But I think Fraser against Dragunov should be a good match, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. So next we had a De Familia segment, which was all right, to be honest. It was a bit ominous, but it's De Familia, so I'm not going to go into much detail.
It's works for them because of them. That's about it.
Then we had Myla Grace versus Stevie Turner, and Aggressive Turner got the win. Next week we have Meiko Satomura's return, and she's receiving a thank you from NXT UK's management. So this will probably be where we find out her next challenger.
Matt Davenport whinges about getting hurt.
Yeah. Then Mustache Mountain had a segment which was good. They talked about Smith and Carter, and Smith and Carter returned the favor. It was basically a title picture segment.
Which is fine for NXT UK to do because they have 1 hour a week and not all the time on all the shows. So it makes sense to remind people of these things. I think that's just fine.
Yeah. And then finally, main event, we had Devlin versus Wolfgang. This was going to be intense, to say the least. Gallus didn't stay ringside as well, so it was a one-on-one bout.
Which is nice. I like it.
Yeah, this was a first-time ever face-off as well, and not many of those are left in NXT UK.
No, I'd say. I think they've wrestled before, though, but not in NXT UK, though.
Yeah. In all honesty, yeah, you basically said what I was just about to say. But Devlin had his left arm targeted, and Wolfgang had fun doing it until Devlin returned the favor and targeted Wolfgang's arm as well. This match went on, and both guys gave their best shots, but the Irish Ace prevailed after a rare 450 splash, and Devlin really only brings out the 450 splash when he needs to put someone down. So that says all it needs to, really.
Yeah, there are some wrestlers like Devlin who will save their big moves for when they really need them in these sort of matches. So I like that because it shows, it helps them do storytelling because they're like, oh, this person was not so hard for me. And then when you have to break out the moves like this, you're like, oh, this was tougher. It's easy storytelling, but it's good.
We've just had a notification come up saying because I follow Candice LeRae, I might like Io Shirai. So
Quill.
No. I don't like you.
Quill. Would you like to elaborate on that?
What?
The baby name.
Oh yes. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae had their baby on the 14th of February, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the 17th?
I think it was the 17th, I believe.
I believe it was after Valentine's Day because she was still pregnant when she posted the picture of Johnny, her, and Portney.
I'm trying to remember when I heard, so I think it's the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting name for the baby.
Yeah. So.
But in all seriousness, yeah, I'm going to take the mick out of the baby name because it's a weird name, but I hope everything's good for the Garganos.
So yeah, that was the end of NXT UK, and I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I can understand that one.
But we now come to...
We need to touch upon first, before we leave the NXTs. NXT Level Up.
I was just about to say we're not done with the NXTs yet.
Yeah. For those of you unaware, 205 Live finally got cancelled. And they pretty much did what I said they were going to do with it.
Create a half-an-hour show with 3 matches, no segments, just wrestling.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing. It's
not.
It has replaced 205 Live on Peacock and the network for those of you who watch it there, for those of you unaware.
And brand new WWE brand hosted by Nigel McGuinness and Sudu Shah. The first one of its kind, an open brand 30-minute show on Friday. Funny how they chose Friday.
That's
not saying anything.
But that's when 205 Live was done anyway.
I thought it was done after SmackDown.
Yeah, it's the same day. They haven't changed anything. So, but yeah, you had a good appearance from Kushida on there, and a couple of other people from NXT, but it's essentially just straightforward matches.
I have an idea. Should we do a 30-second shakedown of Level Up, because it's 30 minutes and 30 seconds?
I tell you what, you can do it. 30 seconds.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just let me get the timer ready and we can do 30 seconds, all right? Let's see, bring up the timer. Right. Okay. I'm going to let the clock get to 30 seconds and then we'll do it from 30 seconds, okay?
You do realise there's a clock up in the corner.
Yeah, but I have an actual stopwatch clock, so that should be in seconds. And it's more fun this way. And yes, I know there's a clock in the corner, but it's more fun this way because I can go dun 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 dun. Not yet. Okay. Now.
So NXT Level Up, the brand new brand hosted by Nigel McGuinness and Sudu Shah, the first one of open brand, 30-minute show on a Friday. The idea seems interesting, but we have to see what would happen. Harland and Joe Gacy kicked off the show with a promo, which was okay. Harland versus Javier Bernal, first ever match on Level Up, and it was, a squash match to say the least. Penley Inlay versus Paxley and Ivy Nile. Paxley's debut, and also
30 seconds!
I read the first bit that we'd already really talked about, so it wasn't really...
I know, but keep going anyway, but that was just fun to see if you could do it.
So new tag teams are always good. Also, this was a good match and also a good win for Paxley and Ivy. We'll possibly see that team in the Dusty Cup. Then we had Kushida versus Idris Enofe, a really good match, very back and forth veteran versus newbie vibes, but also a surprise as Idris beat Kushida. And there was a nice show of respect afterwards. And a little bit of hand signaling saying that we want Jacket Time versus you two next.
Yeah. It shows it's a show that's also really continuity of everything else, which is never a bad thing.
I'm not going to lie, but this 30-minute show was better than 30 minutes of most of the main roster shows this week.
Yeah.
Like, no segments, just wrestling. Like, no complaints. Like, next to no segments. It was great.
You can rate it if you want. Yeah, I'm not surprised, yeah. Obviously, for those of you who can't see, that's a 10 from Aaron.
I even did the...
Yeah, some people do listen to shows and they can't see them, so...
Yeah, 10. Yeah. To be honest, it was one of the... It was... I enjoyed watching it.
And you can't always say that about WWE programming, so... But yeah, so that was NXT Level Up.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that brings us to SmackDown. Yeah. Which I'm going to do SmackDown because I'm going to give Aaron's voice a bit of a break here. So Aaron, just pipe in when you want to, right? Okay? Right. Because I'm just going to just touch upon the main things here, right? Ronda Rousey, Naomi, Sonya Deville, and Charlotte Flair had a segment which essentially ends up with Ronda Rousey agreeing to have one hand tied behind her back for the tag team match at Elimination Chamber. How fucking retarded. It's as simple as that. What a dumbass stipulation for a tag match, especially. It's like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you dumbass people?
I thought this made a little bit of sense because Sonya still had her arm in a sling, but then it got to the Saudi show and she just flings the fucking thing off.
Yeah, I mean, from that point of view, it may make a degree of sense because obviously heels being heels, but fucking hell. It was a bit dumbass for me, but I can see your point there. At least your point makes sense. Which is more than what their booking normally fucking does. So yeah, so Ronda, just Ronda, has to have one hand tied behind the back in the tag match. Okay, and
because she said on an interview that she could beat her with one hand tied behind her back.
It's a typical face trope that the heels will do to them because they'll say stuff like that and the heel will then go, "Oh, really?" And then get them to agree to having one hand tied behind their back when they have a match. Yeah. So it's a normal thing. That leads me to the next match I have, which is Ricochet versus Sheamus. I haven't seen this match before.
Rico for the win.
Yeah, Ricochet won though, which is always a nice thing to see. We don't see it that often.
Also, afterwards, Sheamus shoved Holland and blamed him for the loss. So we could be seeing the dissension of the Bar 2.0.
Yeah, maybe they become the cocktail bar instead. So Ricochet won. Yeah, there you go. Next thing I have for match wise is Ivar versus Jey Uso. Ivar wins by DQ. There's not really a lot else to say about this other than that.
Yeah, well, before that, we actually had a Sami Zayn segment where Sami Zayn was just being Sami Zayn, but we also had announced that The Undertaker was being added to the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I wasn't going to touch upon Sami Zayn, but Undertaker I was going to do at the end of the show, but okay. But yeah, the Sami Zayn thing I wasn't going to touch upon because obviously there's a match later on with Zayn in it. So, the segment didn't really mean anything.
Mm-hmm. So, and it was kind of overshadowed by the announcement that was made afterwards.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But as Aaron points out, yes, The Undertaker is going into the Hall of Fame, so he's the first person announced for it. Is anyone surprised by this? No.
Not after he rejected the Saudi match.
Mm-hmm. Also, I still think he would have gone in. I don't think it made a difference. So, there you go. Next thing I have is another McIntyre, Moss, and Corbin segment. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. This is, of course, a prelude to their match at Elimination Chamber, as in Moss and McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is just basically the same old shit just done again. Simple as that, really. Then, as I alluded to earlier, this is the IC title match where you have
we had a Nakamura pre-match segment.
Don't care.
It was funny.
Says you.
I just found it good to know that he still has his mic skills, even though he's had a mouthpiece for the past 3 years.
If you say so. I don't find Nakamura's WWE funny at all. Because it's WWE. He's better off just doing the dancing and keeping his gob shut, honestly, when it comes to WWE. If he's going to do the talking stuff, do it when you're away from WWE. Because then he can be himself and not be scripted. Because I think scripting damages Nakamura.
I heard that he came up with this himself.
Okay, then have him not say anything, because honestly, it was bad.
It was punny, but okay.
Yeah, well.
So, Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. See, I really hoped Nakamura wouldn't get screwed out of his title just so we see Zayn versus Knoxville at WrestleMania for the IC title, because that'd be ridiculous and disrespectful of all the previous IC title holders. And after a pretty physical match, guess who won?
Zayn. The reason why we won't see Knoxville is because Johnny's having issues with his head, so there's a good chance he ain't going to be able to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Zayn won. Again, though, this is the end of a reign which basically has meant fuck all because they've not used Nakamura as the champion, and most of the time he's not even been on television.
Yeah.
And when he hasn't been defending his title, he's been in tag matches.
Yeah. So, after that, we had Reigns versus Goldberg face to face.
Yeah.
Heyman did a promo, was interrupted by Goldberg's music. Goldberg came out to the ring, picked up a microphone, dropped it, got in Reigns' space, and said, when it comes to the Universal title, Goldberg is next. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, this brought the fuck out of me.
Yeah. I blacked out on a bus earlier, and that was more fun than this was.
Yeah. You was in an escape room earlier on with people who were stupid, and that was more fun than this was.
Well, half of them was.
Fair. So, yeah, there you go. So that was SmackDown, basically. A generous 3. Okay.
I have more on the rating here.
Explain to me why it's a 3. I'm curious.
Even though we've seen it time and time again, Sheamus versus Ricochet is always a good match.
Okay.
Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, even though I didn't predict that Sami Zayn would win. I thought he'd just get shit over again and Nakamura's reigns continue, so I was mildly surprised, and I like surprises.
Okay, that's fair enough.
There's the Undertaker announcement was nice to hear, and the package that they played was pleasing as well, because it showed us from A to B, well, A to Z of the Undertaker, which was nice. Not really SmackDown related, but you know.
At least they didn't play sexy strip teasers they announced against the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Apart from that,
That's fair enough. I can see that score for that. That's fine. Cool.
But that, now we come to Blood Diamonds. Elimination Chamber.
You know what you private messaged me earlier? Did you want to talk about that?
No.
Before we do this abomination.
No.
Okay. Just thought we should talk about something positive rather than something that's a piece of shit.
Well, WWE kind of treated it like a piece of shit, and so did Saudi, to be fair, because they booed the two women that are involved in this storyline equally, even though one of them's supposed to be a heel.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it was a bit unnerving and mad respect for Naomi and Sonya going out there and actually performing.
I say, did it surprise you? 'Cause it didn't surprise me, unfortunately.
No, didn't surprise me. But it just made this whole thing like kind of wish, yeah, you should have just done this in the States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It felt that way. And it felt rushed as well.
One thing I would like to point out, though, is at least they didn't have the women wrestle in those fucking baggy t-shirts.
Yeah, all the women in the show actually had decent outfits.
Yeah. I mean, they hid to the customs out there. It covered the skin and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like baggy hanging shit, so...
It was like morph suits.
Yeah, it made more sense for a wrestling match than what fucking sleeping t-shirts are, because essentially that's what they were wearing, was t-shirts you go to bed in.
Yeah. And a turtleneck jumper. And a pair of leggings.
Yeah.
At least WWE put some thought into it this time.
Exactly. And the outfits looked okay, which is... That's a thumbs up at least.
I'm not one for fashion.
No, but I mean, the fact they've actually put some thought in it and they looked okay is what I mean.
Yeah.
However, to those people who booed Naomi and Sonya, fuck you. Fuck all of you. There's not really much else I can say to it other than that. Fuck you all.
No. What surprised me was the kickoff of this show.
Yeah, so a lot of people were
Reigns
surprised.
Goldberg.
And
also Roman's opener.
No, you've missed something.
Have I?
There was a pre-show match.
I didn't watch the pre-show. I didn't have time.
Okay, I'll sum it very briefly. It was The Miz versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh, yeah, I did watch it.
Is that memorable? Aaron forgot.
I don't have it written down on my notes that I made, because I made brief notes, but I did main show. I didn't bother with the old show.
Yeah, no worries. Rey Mysterio won, basically.
Yeah.
So,
good for Rey.
Yeah, but as Aaron pointed out, the first match of the actual main card was the Universal title match, which tells you pretty much Roman's winning.
Also tells you that Roman wanted to get back to the States as soon as possible.
No. Well, it is, right? Roman either was be the last match or the first match on shows. This is something he's actually known for.
What he did at the start.
And as the chamber match, the men's one is the final match. He was always going to be the opener. And if you're the opener, you're likely keeping your belt.
Yeah. So Reigns actually didn't open the show up with his match. He opened it up with a segment. He was given a microphone and he announced, "Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, acknowledge me." And I didn't think this would go down well, but it actually did.
It didn't with me.
No.
I thought it was fucking tone deaf.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. In a country like that, you're going to make a statement like that.
Yeah, it's pretty... Yeah. Fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, when he said that, I was like, oh no, that's not going to go down well.
I didn't think there was an issue with it as far as the Saudis go, but I think it kind of highlighted a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for those who are unaware, is pretty much what the Saudi royal family did to everyone else.
Yep.
So, way to highlight that, Roman.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's Roman's gimmick. I'm not really sure what else he could have done.
Mm-hmm.
And it is his catchphrase, so it'd be a bit weird if he didn't use it.
Just felt a bit uncomfortable to hear it in that area.
Yeah, it's where it was, not the fact he did
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, Reigns won.
Big
He put
shock.
Goldberg to sleep.
This was not a long match.
No. Yeah, pretty 5
essentially,
minutes.
we had no jackhammer, but essentially this was finisher spamming.
Yeah. If you want to see a match just like it, go watch Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Or McIntyre versus Lesnar.
Yeah, but if you want to see this done well, you want the Goldberg-Lesnar match from WrestleMania. The second one they had, not the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Because this, like the other options you just point out, are all rather bad.
Yeah. So, after that, we had the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The only highlight I got for this is Alexa's swing in her pod. And Bianca Belair was the winner.
I actually liked that because it was kind of goofy. And goofy works for goofy characters, and she's a goofy character, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm surprised she was actually allowed to perform there because, like, the Fiend side of things kind of makes it look a bit satanic.
Yeah, but it depends on how you depict it. You can get away with it as long as it's not too overly like that. I mean, me personally, I'd love to see Wendy Chu in an Elimination Chamber match. She just takes a pillow and a bed in there and just.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Because I think it'd be fucking hilarious. That's why. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not. And she just sleeps her way until there's one person left and they realise that she's over in the corner.
Yes, to sleep.
Yeah. So, next we had Rousey and Naomi versus...
you didn't say who won.
I did. Bianca Belair.
And how did she win?
By pinning Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm. To be fair with them in this match, they made Belair look very strong.
She pinned the Nightmare and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, but that's what you want. But those are the two, not being funny, with the other people. Those are the ones that she needs to really have beaten, honestly.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that actually would mean something in this match, not being funny.
Yeah. So next we had Rousey and Naomi versus Sonya and Charlotte in a tag team match where Ronda Rousey's arm was tied behind her back and she still managed to kick Charlotte's ass. And Sonya's. Unfortunately for Sonya, she chose Charlotte Flair as a partner and Charlotte watched Sonya get put in an armbar.
Yeah. And there'll be a lot of people who would be like, well, why didn't Charlotte get involved and stop that? Well, I don't blame Charlotte. I would have do it as well. Yeah, but to me, it's not Charlotte's interest to get involved there. Just do what Charlotte did. I don't blame her. Also, Charlotte's supposed to be smart.
Yeah. So next we have McIntyre versus Moss. Falls Count Anywhere. This, out of all the matches on this card, this was the botch match.
Yeah.
And this card features Goldberg. And this was the botch match.
Yeah, one of two things happened here. Either he was over-rotated or he didn't tuck properly.
He didn't tuck properly from the way it looked.
Yeah, but that seems to be the two main things that people are thinking. I personally side with you. I just think he hasn't tucked properly because obviously he's gone inwards for the Alabama Slam when you're supposed to not do that. It's like the Stars Clash. You do the opposite to what you would naturally do.
Yeah. So for those of you who didn't see it, After a brief trip up and down the ramp in the Saudi Dome, they eventually made their way back to the ring, and McIntyre inverted Alabama slammed Moss. He didn't tuck properly, and he landed on his head.
Yeah,
and on the replay, it looked like he was sticking his head back in his shell. That's how bad this was.
I would also give credit to Baron Corbin here, because the very first thing that happened after this was Baron Corbin got him out the ring.
Yeah, and checked on him.
Yeah, that was very smart. I personally think
either.
Yeah, I also think probably they should have stopped it at that point.
All credit to Moss, though, for finishing the match.
Yeah, but I don't like the fact that they let him.
I don't think he gave him much of a choice.
No, you can still stop it. It's ultimately down to the referee. It's ultimately down to the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Because if the referee thinks you can't finish the match, then they'll get the doctor to have a look at you. And if the doctor doesn't think you can do it, you've got no say as the wrestler. It stops.
I mean, I think what would have been good here is if, when this happened, Baron Corbin punches Riddick Moss in the face, causes a DQ. Moss still wins the match, and we can get a rematch at a later date.
Yeah, if somebody wants to see something equivalent where something happened like this in a match, there was a match between Chris Jericho and Adrian Neville, right?
Yeah.
Neville's done a move and he's broken his ankle doing the move, right? And he's down. The referee doesn't know Neville's hurt himself. He hasn't worked out. And Jericho's shouting at the referee because the referee's not noticed it, right? And the referee's still trying to get the match going. So Jericho, using this, pushed the referee to get disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
So the match is immediately over at that point.
Yeah.
So this is what probably should have happened here.
Yeah.
But McIntyre did win this match by claymoring him.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like the Claymore, but he's just hurt his fucking head.
And neck, possibly.
Yeah.
Because he really did look like a turtle going back into his shell the way he landed. I watched it like 6 times. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. It also kind of looked like he was trying to do like the yoga thing, the sun salutation thing, and he couldn't quite extend his arms to do it.
Yeah. The fact he had his mouth open as well didn't help. He was like...
I would like to say that hopefully he's okay. I've not heard yet, because
I haven't even
checked over yet, but I do hope he's all right. As much as we do like taking the mickey out of the gimmick, I never hope for anything serious to happen to these guys, so I hope he's all
Yeah.
right.
Then we had Becky Lynch versus Lita for the Raw Women's Championship. A close match, but Becky retained with a blooming rock bottom.
Manhandle
slam.
I thought this was probably a lot better than it should have been, considering Lita's not wrestled for 15 years.
Yeah.
Also, she pulled out some new tricks, which was nice to see. Managed to hit a moonsault as well, which was good. Becky probably should have won this match. Not got a problem with that. And Lita looked okay in this match, so I thought this was good.
It leaves her open for another championship match down the lane.
Yeah.
As long as she's not used in a Goldberg way, I'll be happy.
I don't think Lita would be used that way, simply because I don't think Lita would want to be used that way. Because I think it's different when it comes to the legends. They have a bit more of a, I'm not doing that ability than the regular talent do.
And next we had the New Day versus the Viking Raiders, which was cancelled.
Sorry, it was the who?
The Viking Raiders.
Against who?
Oh, the Usos. How much I cared about this bit.
Yeah, there's a joke here about you not knowing one of them from the other one, but
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, why bother? Honestly, because if you're gonna do this, then don't do it. Just don't have it on the show.
See, yeah. For those of you who didn't see, Viking Raiders made their way out and got jumped by the Usos, which caused a no contest, or just, well, the match didn't happen because they beat them up so badly.
It's officially listed as a no contest, just so you know.
Yeah. So, last but not least, we had a WWE Elimination Chamber match, which
WWE
was
title match, you mean?
WWE Elimination Chamber title match.
Yeah.
This was hectic, to say the least.
Yeah.
Lesnar broke script and kicked out of his pod because he was the last to enter the cage, and Lashley had been carried out like within the first 10 minutes because he got a Austin Theory treatment via Seth Rollins via power bomb through the pod. So Lashley was carried out, and it was made for the title. And because of Lashley's head injury, he wasn't allowed to return to the Elimination Chamber.
However, you might want to point out the fact that Lashley's actually legit injured following this match.
He is, yes. He has a legit shoulder injury.
And he's going to have it operated on.
May need surgery.
He's going to have it operated on. I've already checked into this. And this is what WWE are saying, by the way. So, and they can't actually lie about this stuff because it's kind of bad if they do. And he's like to miss Mania because of it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So it sucks for Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of like Lashley as well, so it's a shame. But as Aaron pointed out, that means, of course, with Lashley out the match, there's a new champion.
Yeah, and after Lashley's pod was lit up, for him to enter the match, even though he was no longer in the match, Brock Lesnar lost his shit, kicked his way out of the cellophane pod, and went on a rampage, pinning all four of the other competitors. Saving Austin Theory for last.
So I had no issue with him kicking out the pod because obviously Lashley can't do it. It makes sense for him to improvise that. I haven't got a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
And I liked that from Lesnar because that's in keeping with Lesnar. Save the easiest one till the end.
Yeah, it didn't end up so easy for him though, because Austin Theory hit him with a low blow, and we all thought for a brief moment. Well, some of us did, not all of us. That
not me, but I did like this. Yeah.
Yeah, Austin Theory had a shot. He had a shot at Lesnar's nuts. That was it.
I would point out both AJ and Daniel Bryan did this in matches against Lesnar. They hit him in the bollocks. It does seem to work against him, so it's not a bad thing to do, especially in a chamber match. There's no DQ. You can do that. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. And it also ties into McMahon's lesson, expect the unexpected. So he can say that he was done. He did what he was told.
Yeah, not an issue with that.
And also, he was the last one in the chamber with Lesnar, so he came second in a WWE chamber match. For an up-and-comer, that's not bad going. Even though he was kind of left until last.
Also, his first chamber match.
Yeah.
So, I can't remember if Riddle's already had one or not.
No.
So, it was his first as well, then.
Yeah.
Everybody else in this match had been in chamber matches before.
I didn't realise Lashley had, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was all over and Lesnar won. Anybody surprised?
I'm pretty sure Lashley has. I may be mistaken, but I think he has. But yeah, the minute Lashley's out this match, nobody else is winning this match.
No, it doesn't hurt Lashley either, like with the injury, or minus the injury, but at the same time.
Well, the injury clearly hurts him, but it doesn't hurt him to lose in this way.
No.
So we have Lesnar as the new WWE champion, and that means WrestleMania's main event, or at least one of them, will be Brock versus Roman, title for title. And do you know what the funny part about that is? Because of this match, the Royal Rumble meant fuck all.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that was Elimination Chamber. Now let's see if we can get a rating out of Aaron. This will be fun. How many? Wait for it. Gonna give you a different scale to rate on. How many LGBTQ plus grades do we give this event? Is that because Sonya actually got to appear? Yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. No issues with the plane this time coming home, by the way. Just so you know.
Hallelujah.
I know it's amazing what happens when you actually pay people, isn't it? Funny how that works. So yeah, we had a few extra stuff, bits and pieces, which obviously I expected this to go on longer than normal, but it hasn't. It's been about an hour and 40 minutes. So that is pretty good. So at this point, WWE stuff is over. So it is the after show.
I haven't watched Rampage or Dynamite this week.
Okay.
Actually, no. Did Daniel Bryan face Lee Moriarty this week?
Yes.
Then I watched Rampage.
That was Dynamite.
Haven't watched Rampage yet.
You didn't really miss much, honestly.
I'm probably going to watch it when I go to bed.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you then, but there you go.
I'll probably sleep for it anyway.
They did announce a bunch of matches they had announced some Revolution matches and some matches for Dynamite and next week's Rampage on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as you didn't watch it, I'm not going to give anything away. For those of you who are interested in things outside of AEW and WWE, Impact had their No Surrender special event thing. That was on Saturday, which took place a few hours after the Elimination Chamber. And as far as we're all concerned, I guess as a collective, the only real thing of note is that Jay White of the Bullet Club turned on the Guerrillas of Destiny and sided with the Good Brothers, bringing them back into the Bullet Club. So it'll be interesting to see what the Guerrillas of Destiny have to say about that. But also, Jay White is currently also appearing on AEW, so that may play into that as well.
Fatal three-way happen, which would be interesting. Jay White and the Good Brothers versus Omega and the Bucks versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon.
Yes, I have an update about Kenny Omega. Actually, he's been backstage at a couple of events, helping with some of the women's matches. But there's a good chance he's coming back fairly soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good for him anyway. But
yeah.
But people who know me know full well I hate the fucking Bullet Club and I don't like the Elite.
Yeah.
So, something I can tell you, which ain't going to spoil anything. Next week on Dynamite, we have Pac and Penta against the Kings of the Black Throne again.
Why?
You'll find out why. I can't elaborate more than that because there's kind of like a spoiler thing. If I do, there's there are reasons. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched all the stuff, I don't want to elaborate.
Fair enough.
So there you go. What I did find particularly funny, and you may find this of interest, there is an AEW podcast called Unrestricted. You may have heard of it.
I watch it, yeah.
Okay. The most current one, I believe it was to do with AEW's charity initiative thing, which is run by Amanda Huber, which is, for those who don't know, Brody Lee's widow, and Cody Rhodes. So they were on that program, literally, and literally a few days later, Cody was gone from the company.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, these Unrestricted are usually recorded in advance.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it funny though at the timing.
It's like Jericho appearing on the Stone Cold podcast.
Oh yeah, but that was all. Nobody had an issue with that.
Yeah, it was funny though.
Yeah, but Jericho asked Tony Khan about it. Tony Khan didn't care. He said, "Yeah, it's fine. I don't care." Because he mentioned AEW on the bloody show, which helps AEW, so you don't lose anything there.
No.
So I do think sometimes, particularly WWE, have an issue where the fact they don't mention other people and other companies is actually harmful to them.
Some of these people are part of WWE history. So
yeah.
Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, some of their best moments in Mania have been made with those two.
Yeah, because
in the last 10 years.
Yeah, just think of those amazing Shield matches with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and it's WWE, right? And yeah, they're trying to show all these clips when they have matches, when they don't show Ambrose. Because that's an example of where this is a dumb thing. It's like nobody cares apart from WWE, apparently.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the world realizes there are other things out there. You can equate it to basically being, if you go to in the UK, for example, if you go shopping in like Tesco's, they'd be like Tesco's telling you there is no other supermarkets in the world. Despite the fact in most cases, there is usually a supermarket, usually quite close. Sometimes it's also in some cases
5 minutes down the road.
Across the road, yeah. And yeah, that's kind of what that bit equipped.
Well, I'm gonna have to go because my throat's like really bad, and I'm gonna try and have a Lemsip because I'm busy tomorrow, and I'm gonna need my voice.
Yes, I was gonna say if you wanted to finish, then we can always do that. So
yeah, normally I'm alright.
I've had the throat thing, so trust me, I get it. So
yeah, normally I'm alright sticking around for an extra like half an hour or so, but.
I mean, the people will understand, and I certainly do. So, it's not a worries. I mean, save your throat for what you need for. Yeah, have some Lemsip. Try and get some of these things if you can. They are actually very good.
Yeah, I've got these.
These are better. Honestly, you can get these from like pretty much anywhere. Honey, lemon, menthol. They are very good. Literally, that's what they're like. So I would definitely recommend them. Lots of drink, obviously. Yeah. That's the main thing. But we covered everything anyway. We've covered all the normal basic stuff. But yeah, so Aaron is going to go rest his voice. Also, Aaron's got streams to do during the week, so that he kind of needs to get his voice to some sort of semblance for that, so he has to rest for those. And of course, he works, so for a job.
Yeah.
And of course, his other half wants to speak to him as well. So obviously, there's going to have to be talking then too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really not say anything to your other half because she'll get very, very annoyed. I understand. Right. So with that one, people, we are going to leave you all and go bye-bye. So bye-bye to the people. So bye-bye, people. So bye-bye. And check out Aaron's streams to help with the charity stuff. As it's February, it's a short month. So there's only 8 more days.
Check up Peter's photography and hook up with Steph.
And all the other fun stuff.